morning and welcome to the second episode of Digital India Podcast on FIR Podcast Network. You are listening to weekly updates from staff and students of Web Marketing Academy. I am your host, Manasi. This show gives you the latest updates in the digital marketing world in India. Today is the 16th of June 2015 and we are giving you updates of the last 7 days. Here are some of the top headlines for the last week. Google is developing faster and lighter mobile web pages for an India-like audience. The second story we have is about the Bhagwat Geetha Champion Mariam Siddiqui returning checks of her felicitation to invest in girl-child education. The third story we have is about India's first lesbian video going viral. And the fourth story we have is about Foxconn wanting to set up iPhone manufacturing plant in India. Before we move on to detailed stories, we have Suresh with us, who is the founder and CEO of Web Marketing Academy. Suresh, could you please give our audience a tip?
So my tip for today is designschool.canva.com. This Canva, if you're not familiar with Canva, it's a website where you can create images without Photoshop knowledge. It is called Canva, C-A-N-V-A. Again, C-A-N-V-A.com. They have a pretty good tutorials and design school. So all these resources is in this particular thing. If you just do a search for design school Canva or designschool.canva.com, they got tutorials, videos and how-tos and everything. So it's a pretty good resource. Check it out. You would love it. Thank you.
The first story we have for today is about faster and lighter mobile web pages being set up by Google in India. According to the official blog of Google written by Hiroto, who is a product manager at Google, it says, "We are exploring some new ways to speed things up. In 2 weeks, we'll start to roll out a new feature. If you have an Android phone and are on a slow connection like a 2G, you should start to see pages loading a whole lot faster while using far less data through your Chrome or Android browser from Google's search results." It's still early days, but our field test in Indonesia showed us that these new light pages load 4 times faster and use 80% less data than before. Traffic to web pages increased by more than 50%. Of course, if you did prefer to see the original page, you can choose that option at the top of your page, the blog said. He is also quoted to have said on the blog, "With over 200 million Indians accessing the internet from smartphones, we are working hard to make access faster and more affordable. After all, if each of those Indian smartphone users spend extra just another 1 second a day waiting for a page to load, that adds up to more than 2.5 years of people waiting on a daily basis." Wow, that's quite a bit talked about on the blog regarding Indian smartphones, Indian smartphone users, and the amount of time it takes for a page to load through Google search results. Thank you, Google, for working on that. Before we move on to the next story, we have another tip from Suresh.
We have this YouTube videos, but there are some alternatives for YouTube. One such alternative is called Wistia, Wistia, Wistia. So now what this does differently is it gives some analytics and some other tools where you can have some call to actions and you can collect some email addresses in your video, and it's also good for SEO. So check it out, wistia.com.
The second story we have for today is about the Bhagwat Geetha Champion Mariam Siddiqui donating all the prize money for girl child education. After winning prizes for her prowess and knowledge of Bhagwat Geetha at the competitions, Mariam has been returning back her cash rewards to facilitate the education of poor girls. The story is that 4 months ago, people were taken by surprise when Maryam Siddiqui, a Muslim girl, topped the Bhagavad Gita competition conducted by International Society for Krishna Consciousness, that's ISKCON. Bhagavad Gita is a part of the epic Mahabharata and is a compilation of the philosophical teachings of Lord Krishna. She was showered with felicitations, awards, and honors from around the country, starting from Pranab Mukherjee, that's our president, Congress President Sonia Gandhi, and her son Rahul Gandhi, several chief ministers, and other organizations. She won the first prize among 4,000 students from 195 schools in Maharashtra who took part in the competition. It happened when Gujarat Chief Minister Anandiben Patel and Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav felicitated her. Both the state heads were stumped when they received the respective checks that they rewarded her, along with additional checks from Mariam's other winnings, with a request to utilize the money for education of poor girls or to use all the money for the noble cause through various schemes in their states. Wow, what a noble gesture. Thank you so much, Mariam. That is nice. And you are a role model to most of the youth in our country. Thank you for being that way. Before we move on to the next story, we have a tip from Suresh.
My tip is Usability Hub. USABILITYHUB.com. Now here you can do a lot of testings. So you can test your design, or you can give some tests, and you can have real people test. It could be your landing page, it could be your design, it could be your mock-up, anything you can do the testing there.
Third story we have for today is about India's first lesbian ad going viral. The country's first advertisement showing a lesbian couple preparing to meet the parents is making waves in social media. The online video shows two women in a live-in relationship flirting and dressing up for the day, chatting about the expectations they face and their love for each other. Titled The Visit, the ad for a fashion portal Anauk, the ethnic wear collection, has got over 200,000 hits on YouTube alone in the last 10 days. We tried to avoid the stereotypes associated with gay people. There was no one woman looking more masculine or feminine in the film. We tried to give it a candid feel like it is in any other couple being apprehensive about meeting the parents, says Avishek Ghosh, co-partner of Hectic Content, the production house that made the film, which was conceptualized by the ad agency Ogilvy and Mather, Bangalore. The ad has got 300,000 views across social media platforms including Facebook and YouTube, says Manish Agarwal, VP of Marketing at Myntra Fashion, which is promoting the ad. And before we move on, we have one last tip from Suresh for the show.
My tip is, how do we collect email addresses? I think if you would have seen some of the websites, on the top or on the side, you might see a bar where it says more articles like this, or maybe subscribe now for articles. So there is a tool for it. It is called Hello Bar. HELLOBAR. HELLOBAR. Now you can design some cool bar. You can change the color. You can connect it with MailChimp or any email software. So automatically your email will be captured. The people who are visiting your site, they can leave their email address, and you can do some A/B testing in there and all these cool things. It is free for certain limitation, and also it has got the branding Hello Bar. If you want your own brand, then it comes with the fees. It's not that big, but also it has got a WordPress plugin. So if you're using WordPress, you can just download the plugin or install Hello Bar plugin. Thank you.
Fourth story we have for today is about Foxconn wanting to manufacture Apple iPhones in India. Foxconn Technology is in talks to manufacture Apple's iPhone in India, government officials said, in a move that it could lower prices in the world's third smartphone market, where the US firm trails Samsung Electronics and local players. India could help Foxconn mitigate accelerating wage inflation in China, where it makes the majority of iPhones, and base production sites closer to markets where its key clients want to grow. Foxconn has said it is aiming to develop 10 to 12 facilities in India, including factories and data centers by 2020. But it has given no details of this entire contract. The Taiwan-based tech giant, the world's largest contract maker of electronic products, declined to comment on detailed plans, citing commercial sensitivity. Those were the latest updates from the digital marketing world in India, and I'm hoping that you've enjoyed the show. Since it's a new show, it would be of great help if you could share your ratings and reviews. Please give us your feedback. For those of you who are listening to us and have something to say, you can leave a comment in the comment section below, and you could get in touch with us on suresh@webmarketingacademy.in. That's SURESH. I hope you've enjoyed weekly updates. Catch you same time next week. Until then, this is Masi signing off with a bye-bye, and this show will be followed by a panel discussion hosted by our very own Manjunath from WMA. Thank you so much.
Welcome back. This is part 2 of our discussion on e-commerce business retailer Myntra going app-only mode. Meaning, Myntra will not have the traditional desktop website. It's just app. They will conduct business only on mobile app. I'm your host, CM Manjunath, and here goes part 2 of the discussion. Abhishek wants to add something.
In fact, it's basically the same point which I wanted to say.
Okay.
The probability of you having a laptop and a 2G connection is lesser than the probability of you having a laptop and a 3G connection, because let's say the places in India, okay, internet connectivity is still not what it should be, but in the metros, obviously all of us have 3G connections on our phone, and in the tier 2 cities where we are talking about primarily 2G or even maybe slower speeds, they don't have, most of them don't have laptops, so and that obviously makes sense. So would you rather leave them out and wait till India's internet infrastructure improves, or would you just try with what you have? That's basically the fail first approach.
Very good points brought up by Abhishek. Vignesh has something to add or counter.
Yeah, counter. First of all, like Ankit told me that he used to use Myntra app while traveling. So it's not that all places has 3G connections, even in metro cities. There are places 3G doesn't support, and sometimes network change will be happening every time. For example, if I move from a particular place to another place, there will be a network change from, for example, a small stop to the other stop. So in that case, if I do any payment time, that payment there will be an issue, and then I might lose my money. So I have to wait for another 1 or 2 weeks to get my money refund back from the bank. There is one more thing, like auto connection. If I click on auto connection mode, places which has 3G connections, it will take 3G, and if there is no 3G connections during rainy season, it will automatically change to 2G. That point of time, I'll be facing a lot of issues.
Alright, good. So let's listen to what Avik has to say.
It is in line with what Vignesh has said, actually. Okay. See, when you talk about tier 2, tier 3 cities, it is not just about making it available to the people. It is about giving the correct service also.
Okay.
It is about satisfying them. What I am trying to bring in from the point is consumer behavior is not it is not like satisfied, then it will be difficult actually.
Right. Good.
Because another thing is that accessing personal information, and if some kind of fraud creeps up, these guys, they don't understand what frauds are actually. I think some kind of an education should go into it before they actually introduce this kind of thing.
Okay, so one, speed is a concern to you.
Yeah.
Now you're also bringing up the security issues.
Yes.
So we'll try and deal with that separately. Who would like to take up the security issue?
But with regard to the previous point, with regard to the payment failures.
Yes.
So according to Wikipedia, there are more than 75% of the people who are buying stuff online, they all prefer the payment mode of cash on delivery.
Wow. Okay.
So when looking at these stats, that it's really not going to affect your business that much.
Or the consumer, so much.
I'm sure it would to a certain extent, but with the growing trend of cash on delivery and more sites providing this facility,
Absolutely.
it is going to decrease.
Good point. Okay. Abhishek wanted to say something.
On the point of security, it's an interesting point. I think we can continue to debate on it all day.
Yeah.
But my question is, if you're okay with giving your data to Google and Facebook, why not Flipkart? If you're browsing something on the internet, chances are you will be trailed by remarketing ads all throughout. That's an invasion of privacy, according to me.
Okay.
That goes down on a mobile, because mobile you get, so the whole concept of segment of one, which is personalized targeting, that can only be done on a mobile because you need that level of data. You're never going to get it on a desktop, because a desktop, your IP will keep on changing as you change locations, and it's not personalized. Let's say you're not always logged in, so chances are you'll be bombarded with a lot of useless content, if I may put it that way.
Yes.
And the content which you'll get on a mobile is much more specific. It's ads.
That
SMS
is,
and push notifications have an 8x conversion rate as per compared to email. Push is free.
He was talking about
Person-
e-fraud and stuff. I'm going to get to that. Just hold on. Deepak has something to add or probably counter. Please go ahead.
Regarding security, first of all, Myntra is all about shopping and fashion and etc. But when it comes to payment, they have a separate gateway. All e-commerce sites have a separate gateway which concentrate only about payments and security. So there is a new gateway which is probably Just Pay, which is focusing only on making the user interface very easy for the customer and very safe, so that as soon as the bank generates the one-time password, you can automatically copy paste it onto your password, and because it's a one-time password, your amount is safe, your account is safe, and the entire system of you having a complete transaction is safe. So the
Okay.
security bit is taken care of.
So there is a lot of technology coming in to take care of your security of payment options. Is your debate, okay? Vignesh, please.
Mobile phone is not only for using internet, it is also required for sending messages and calls. So what if when I was about to purchase something and there is no internet connection, like let us assume during rainy time I am using just 2G network connection, when I was supposed to get some one-time password, so that time there will not be internet connection. So that is one issue. And what if I get some phone calls, and what will it last for another half an hour or 45 minutes? I cannot go back and then I cannot see that application again. I can just close it. I'll leave it off.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, these are some of the concerns that I think not just a few people, but quite a few people will have. Valid questions. What are the points you can counter with?
I think that this is the same case on a desktop or a mobile site. If you are going to generate a one-time password on a desktop or on a mobile, and if you get a phone call in between, it's going to be the same thing. And even with regard to not getting an SMS with your one-time password, it's the same thing. So basically your payment gateway is the same on your mobile and on your desktop. So that will not really affect.
If you're using
an
2G
app
connection, if I receive any message, there will be a gap. That internet will be cut off for a few seconds until I get that message, and then it will automatically get reconnected. So if I use a computer or if I use any desktop, even if I get messages, that is totally different. I'll get a message in my phone, not in a laptop.
So how do you deal with this problem, Abhishek?
But I won't say that the difference is 2-3 seconds, because if you see, I've been using Paytm, which is one of the m-commerce apps, primarily one of the first m-commerce players, and I use it to recharge my Uber account. I use it to recharge my phones, and I make all my payments through that, and I never really had an issue. Coming back to the other point about cart abandonment or failures, on a native app it's actually easier. If you got a native app, you can put everything in the app, leave it like that, and then you next get connection to the internet, you can just go ahead with your complete order. You can't do that on a desktop, because if your internet connection just went off, bang, your card goes off.
But even on my studies elsewhere, people say that security on a mobile phone is something that people fear, and it is there. It is present and real, right? Honestly, I'd like to know more info, but let's proceed with the discussion now. Deepak, do you wanted to add something?
Security on a mobile, I still think, is not one of the biggest issues right now,
Okay.
because as long as your bank account is safe, your security is there,
Okay.
and your bank account is safe because you always get a one-time password from the bank,
Okay.
and that will not last for a long time,
Right.
just for a few seconds.
Okay.
And even if you lose your internet connection at that point of time, you're not losing any money there because your transaction is not complete.
Pranav, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, see, security becomes an issue when your internet speed is slow. You guys are talking about internet speed. What do you don't know? See, internet prices are actually going down. And today or tomorrow, someone has to set the trend for this mobile apps. And there's no other better players than Myntra and Flipkart to start it off with, actually. That's what I feel.
Okay, good.
Do
So
you
that's an
think-
early start, which means they'll have one leg up already,
exactly.
right? That's
One
good.
point
Yes,
I
I
would
agree
like
with
to
you.
make. Do you think smartphones, the feature of the smartphones is uniform all across the product lines? A lower end smartphone will definitely be less effective. And a person in tier 2, tier 3 cities, when he is using that kind of a product and he is stuck and he cannot complete the transaction, there's when the problems will start. There's where the companies lose out on business. That is our thought is about it.
And also, I would like to add, even if it is 1 or 2 MB, why should I give some space for other application in my mobile? It will consume all my mobile memory, right? So if there are a lot of application in my mobile automatically will get slowed down.
Wow.
Even though I'm using like 40k mobile, so if I use multiple application, it slows down.
Yeah. And this question came up. I mean, how many apps will you have? How many m-commerce apps will you have on your phone, and you'll flip through every time to pick a pair of shoes, for example? Abhishek wants to add something more, please.
I want to come to Avik's point about lower quality smartphones.
Yes.
We all know about Xiaomi, and I think when we talk about price and quality in the same breath, it's Xiaomi. Adding on to that, we've got...
So Xiaomi is a good company, is what you're saying.
Obviously.
Right, good. Okay.
And we have $40 smartphones coming out in India, which have got 4+ reviews on all the rating sites. Basically, what we need to understand here is that what we are performing are like basic operations. We are not looking at someone doing something extraordinary from whatever he's doing on the desktop. Is just replicating that activity online, which essentially not require. So if let's say if you just to make a payment or to buy something, you wouldn't require a lot of extra memory or extra space to be completely there.
Great. Thank you very much, guys. It was wonderful. I mean, companies have decided to write mobile app only. So there is problem with the speeds, tier 1, tier 2 cities which were brought up. There is security issues and whatnot. When we look at the overall picture, companies have done some kind of research. They have used the Pareto principle, I'd say. Pareto principle quotes that, whatever constitutes majority of your sales, in this case about 60 to 70% of the sales through mobile apps, you focus your energy on that. And I think Myntra and Flipkart together are focusing on that. So regardless of the kind of impact it will have in the future, these guys definitely have a leg up because they're starting early. In terms of consumers, I understand there are lots of problems, or we at least foresee them. However, companies believe that consumers are better off using their product on mobile app or making their transactions online using their mobile app.
T-shirt. What I do is I'll check on Myntra, and then if the rate is 500 or 1000 rupees, I'll check with competitor websites like Jabong or even other websites, and I'll compare the same T-shirt with 2 or 3 more e-commerce websites, and then I'll compare which gives me in cheaper price. So I'll go with that particular product, right? Why should I spend more by looking only into a Myntra website?
So there are apps for that as well. There's an app called Compare, Shop, Buy Hatke, there is Jungly, there is Makhi Choose.
So you're asking me to download this app and then plus Myntra app and then too many apps? Oh, come on.
See, I think I would like to use a Henry Ford quote here. Henry Ford, when coming out of the first car, he said, if I had asked people for what they wanted, they would have said faster horses.
I'm sure Steve Jobs would have quoted something similar to.
And I want to compare, 2 or 3 more shirts together. If it is a desktop, I used to, alt tab, next shirt, alt tab, next shirt, and then I'll keep on comparing which is the best one. I'll choose the final one. To buy one shirt, I used to see at least 10-15 shirts. Everyone will do that. So I cannot do the same in mobile phone. I cannot change, multiple tabs in one time, but I can do it in a desktop.
But you can get multiple notifications.
Why should I need a notification when it's easy for me to change the tab and when it's easy for me to using a computer?
Closing a notification in a mobile app is difficult than that of a desktop app. So obviously taking care of the notification is again simpler.
Okay. I wish
Just encounter that desktop pop-ups are the most irritating things I have ever encountered in my entire life.
And okay, one more
And
thing.
back in the days,
Yeah, even
oh my
It was
god.
difficult.
I'm sure all of those of us who watch cricket streaming or football streaming on unofficial channels would agree to this.
And also one more thing, it's not that all smartphones are like more than 5-inch screen. It has like small sizes, even like 4-inch and 3.5-inch also. So in that case, like I can see 1 or 2 shirts in one first page. I have to keep scrolling every time. If it is a desktop, I can see that some 12 shirts on a go, and then I can click whatever I like and then I can view it. And if not, even I can scroll down and it's easy for me to see whatever comes up. And also like it's easy for me to go to the next page and then go back to the 12th or 13th page and then again come back to the first page.
Okay.
So in that way it's easy for me.
Okay, and Abhishek is just waiting to pounce.
I think when first e-commerce came out, people were like, so I would rather see the product, touch, try, feel, buy.
Absolutely.
And gradually we evolved to buying things online. Now we are saying, okay, from online I can do this, do that, but I can't do that on mobile. So the whole process, it's a process of, there are still a lot of people who still prefer going to a store and buying and not buying online. There will be still a lot of people who would buy online and not go on to mobile, and there are sites which serve that purpose.
Yeah, interestingly, this was exactly the same point that we had made initially when we had a discussion within the classroom, and Suresh was with us and discussing the same thing. So, absolutely, I mean, it takes a little time for people to accept change. Initially, there will be resistance, and Myntra made it very clear there will be resistance. But they obviously see the future of business doing well on mobile app, and they took the step. Pranav wants to add something?
No, I want to ask you a question. If Myntra, Flipkart, Snapdeal, Amazon all go mobile app only, will you stop shopping?
It's not that I'll stop shopping, but I'll keep shopping. But there will be a website who has online presence too. My first preference will go for desktop users.
Like he said, e-commerce when it came to India, everyone's like, okay, fine, I'll see the product then I'll buy it. People just get used to it after some time. A certain part of the population starts shopping through mobile apps only. You can't help it. You can't be left behind. You will start shopping no matter what, because there's no other alternate way actually.
Yeah, Deepak.
It's the same way you shifted from Google Hangouts to WhatsApp. You got used to it along the way.
Yes, I agree, but it would be great if they have their own website, because mobile phone alone doesn't give great revenue, because even as you mentioned previously, even desktop gives a very good revenue, like 30 to 40%, right?
So, but the trend is showing that it is going down.
Yeah.
So it was 100% earlier, but now it's only 40%. So that is the trend. The trend shows a decline in the website.
If you
sales.
see Aniket, even the sale in Q1 2015, there has been a dip in the sale of mobiles. That's according to a cyber media report.
Right.
Okay.
So,
the whole of country or the world you're talking about?
Only India I'm talking about. But then having said that, if you're talking about tier 1, tier 2 cities, most of the people, they don't have proper access to a smartphone. Maybe they will be using a
That's
lower
when the
end.
e-commerce sites come in.
Yeah, but they have
That's
laptop.
the
So
problem.
that was
And the
question
memory
that was
space.
brought up already.
Huh?
Right, they brought up this point already. Now, in people in tier 2 and tier 3 do not have a phone, a smartphone. Could they afford a laptop? And business depending on laptop sales alone or PC sales alone, would it be worth it?
So there's a place called Kolhapur in Maharashtra which has the highest number of Mercedes-Benz in India. If you go there, everyone's wearing Zara, Wrangler, Lee, all the brands, but there are not enough showrooms. So where are they buying from?
Interesting.
Answers your question.
That's about Vignesh's question,
Yes.
right? Okay.
And let's look at it in a very neutral way. I think when we, as a marketer, when we talk about customers, there's two things. One is acquisition, the other is retention. Now, we're talking about a startup company here. Obviously, it doesn't make absolute sense to go mobile only because you're limiting your avenues of entry. But let's look at someone like an Flipkart or Myntra. They've reached the critical mass where people know about them. For them, customer acquisition will be a byproduct of all their marketing activities. They're doing TV ads, they're doing print, they're doing everything. Outdoor media, they're doing online ads as well. What they're more interested is getting deeper into customer retention, because if you look at any sort of marketing channels, the greatest ROI comes from your direct customers who've already engaged with you before. So their idea, I guess, why they are doing it. Now we've talked a lot about customer benefits, but let's talk about the company benefits as well. why they're doing is simply because they want that level of data on a customer. They want to know when Aniket last saw the product and what is he looking at.
And
how can he target him with what sort
location
of
based as well.
Exactly. So in that way, you're getting tons and tons of data, which they have people to sit back in a data center and process and give them insights, which they'll work on. So it's an iterative process.
And Jabong, they have only website presence. Let's see Jabong how they make it, because they are the only competitor. I mean, the top level competitor for Myntra. So let's see Jabong how they capture the market.
Yes,
That is desktop market.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to note. And also Jabong told that they're going to do it over a period of time, not immediately. They don't think this is the right time to get into the mobile. Maybe it'll take a little longer before they go mobile app only. So we don't know what's in store for the future, but right now looks like Myntra has made the decision, and of course the parent company Flipkart is in the process of doing so. Is it good for the customers? Majority of them say yes, it's good, but we do need to keep the security and speeds in check. At least as a part of our consideration is what some people also have to say about that. In terms of the company, like we mentioned earlier, they're looking at the Pareto principle. They want to sell where the most sales happen. And interestingly, it's happening on mobile phone apps as of now. Pareto principle says 80% of results come from 20% of activities. Myntra seems to have taken the principle to heart. According to them, close to 80% of sales and conversions happened on mobile app. After testing this hypothesis, they've concluded that their focus should be mobile app only. We foresee that many more online businesses will follow suit and go mobile app only mode very soon indeed. That's our conclusion. Thanks for listening. In the next episode, we will find out more details on how internet has changed lives of the country with the second largest population in the world. This is CM Manjunath along with editor Bharani signing off. Have a good one.
Since this is a new show, I thought it would be a good idea to walk you through the people and behind the scenes of how we record FIR Podcast. So I did a small short video and it will be in the show notes. If you're interested how we record, what are the things, who's behind the scenes, we are given an intro. Please check it out. It will be in the show notes. It's a link to YouTube videos. Thank you.